Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
A devastating tornado rips through northern Michigan in a community very familiar to many Metro Detroiters. Only on the ground for a few minutes, but leaving a wide path of destruction.
It was on the ground for a good 2 miles, and it did wipe out Hobby Lobby. It did wipe out Jimmy John's, the Quick Lube.
Tonight, sadly, we know at least one person has been killed in the weather.
And dozens more injured, with homes and businesses destroyed. That tornado touching ground at about 4:30 this afternoon, right in the heart of Gaylord.
Team coverage tonight on Local 4 News at 11 from the hardest hit areas. Let's start with Mara McDonald, who just spoke with the city's mayor. Mara.
Hi, Devin. We are at Command Central for this operation to get Gaylord back up and running. We've been briefed by the mayor, Michigan State Police, as well as the governor. And the bottom line is this. Tonight, Gaylord is in the dark. They have no power. There are communications problems, and the damage here is severe. And it is going to take days to assess exactly how bad all this is. The damage is substantial. Gaylord's commercial corridor has been flattened.
I would say it was on the ground for a good 2 miles, and it did wipe out Hobby Lobby. It did wipe out Jimmy John's, the Quick Lube out there on our west side of town, and then it came into town and it wiped out a lot of homes.
At least 10 homes are just gone, with other serious damage all around town. 44 people have been taken to the hospital. One person is confirmed dead. The tornado took out a cell phone tower, so communications here are rough. Consumers has 100 troops on the way to restore power. The governor arrived late tonight and has signed an emergency declaration.
It's been a tough week for northern Michigan, and we've had the Blue Lakes fire to today's tornado right here in Gaylord. I know it's going to be a tough weekend for families here and for businesses and for the recovery. We're Michiganders and we're tough and we're resilient. We have been through a lot of tough stuff together, especially over the last few years. We will get through this.
The city is on lockdown. Police checkpoints surround the town, but assessing the full scale of what's happened here is going to take days. The mayor got on his bike in order to get around the area to see for himself how bad it all is.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. I'm numb. I mean, I've been a lot of times my adrenaline's been going, and it's just now it's like you feel exhausted. So I mean, I'm concerned about all our citizens, and of course all the crew trying to help clean everything up as well too.
Back here live, speaking of crews, you have got resources from around the state heading up here right now, including from Oakland County. They are sending their urban search and rescue team up here. Technically, Devin and Karen, nobody is listed as missing right now, but there is so much debris in a mobile home community as well as an apartment. They need to sort through it to make sure that is still the case. We're live in Gaylord tonight. I'm Mara McDonald. Local 4. And
going to need a lot of daylight for that. All right, Mara, let's turn now to Jason Colthorpe, who is live at the shelter that has been set up in town where these impacted families are staying tonight. And Jason, that's a lot of people.
There are a lot of people, Devin, and just to kind of continue on with what Mara's talking about, I can tell you the efforts to help the people of Gaylord well underway tonight. Let's start with the rescue efforts. We've seen EMS vehicles, just saw another one, some of them racing back and forth here where we are. We're a little east of downtown and a couple miles from I-75. Also, the cleanup effort. If you look down this road here, you can see one of those checkpoints Mara mentioned. And as we rolled into town, we could see at least 2 big MDOT dump trucks rolling into town to help out in that effort. And there's also the humanitarian effort that's ongoing, like here at the E-Free Church. As you said, at least 50 people are here tonight that are going to stay here, and they expect that number to grow over the next few hours.
People calling about water. So
yes,
is it okay
and
to
they
have
can bring
that down here?
they can bring it here or into the middle entrance. The United Way is going to have a room set up.
In his 11 years in Gaylord, Pastor Scott Dissler has seen blizzards, but never tornadoes. And that's why when they hit today, he rushed to his mother's house to get her, and then he surveyed the damage.
Power poles snapped in half. You basically had to navigate like a war zone. You had to navigate around things just to try to get to her house and try to get her out of the house to get her to my house. And then I kind of went down in town just a little ways and started to see all the damage to the buildings. Didn't even make it down to the worst part. But yeah, it's like driving around a war zone.
His E-Free Church is ideal to help during this disaster. It's big, it has power and Wi-Fi. In fact, the Red Cross was set up and ready to take people in just 2 hours after the storm hit.
The goal here is to have a safe place for people to eat and to have a place to sleep in a disaster. We want to make sure that they're well cared for and then they feel safe.
And there's a lot of people in Gaylord displaced right now. There was trailer parks that were leveled, homes that were demolished. So we've just opened up our building, working with the Red Cross and the United Way, kind of a team effort, so that anybody that right now has a need has a safe place. In fact, if they need a ride here, we're even sending out our church vans or church buses to pick them up.
Yeah, and we've seen that van bringing people in here tonight. And it's not just people that have been had their homes devastated or hit by this. I talked to a family that came in earlier tonight that just didn't have any power. So many people don't have power, and they kind of walked me through what happened with their house. They watched 2 tornadoes scoot by their house in each direction, but they have no power tonight. They came here just to get some food, and they headed back to relatives. But the efforts to help the people here underway, and as the pastor told me tonight, that's how they're going to get through this, as a community, coming together, leaning on one another, opening doors for one another, and they'll make it through this. We're live in Gaylord tonight. Jason Coulthorpe, Local 4.
Spent a lot of time in Gaylord. It's a great community.
It really is.
People are very special.
You know they're going to pull together. Not just power that Jason mentioned earlier, Mara talking about cell tower being knocked out. So communications are really tricky too. All right, Jason. Brett, let's get back to Brett here, who was tracking the system this afternoon. I was talking to somebody who's got family up there. They got the alerts, and not everybody knew what to do. And when you're in an area where you're just not used to tornado warnings, you know, the early warning systems that we have are only as good as people's ability to turn them into action and doing something, you know, to take cover.
You know, we talk about it all the time, getting to a safe place.
Yeah.
Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Mobile homes are almost always not a safe place to be, right? So getting to a sturdy structure. Hopefully we don't have to go through this kind of thing anymore this summer, but anytime that we do, we really harp on that. This is the setup from earlier today. This is the radar at 3:45 p.m. You can see that classic hook echo signature just to the west of downtown Gaylord. You don't have to be a meteorologist to really figure out what's going on here. But as you look within the storm, we look at the winds, the velocity, how the winds and the rain are moving inside this storm. Anywhere that you see these reds and these greens coming together, that's indicative of tight rotation. And the brighter these colors are, the faster the winds, and therefore the tighter that rotation is. Just 5 minutes later, that rotation just east of downtown, still very strong. On top of that, one product that we can look at with Storm Tracker 4 is the debris detector, CC. And what we're looking for is this little blue ball here, indicative that there is debris lofted above the ground. And in this case, it's not meteorological. It's not rain, not snow, not hail. It's likely fencing. It's likely branches, metal, roofs, maybe other man-made objects. So anytime that we see this, certainly very concerning. Now, as this storm moved from west to east, we saw damage all across the northern part of the state. Of course, the 2 tornado reports from the National Weather Service. But how about this? Even hail, baseball-sized hail. Almost 3 inches large, very large. All this with a cold front that's been still producing showers and storms. It's sagging south, and it's going to give way to showers and storms for us tomorrow. We'll track those for you coming up in just a bit.
Yeah, think about getting hit with 3-inch hail dropped from several thousand feet. All right, Brett. Our Mara McDonald is staying in Gaylord overnight. We expect to be able to get a closer look at the damage tomorrow morning. We'll have some daylight, hopefully, which will shed a lot of light on just how bad this is. Our live coverage will continue on Local 4 News today, Saturday, starting at 6 a.m.
In other news tonight, police are still searching for a driver in a road rage shooting and crash that left an innocent woman dead. It happened yesterday at the intersection of Middlebelt and Maplewood. Police say a pickup and another SUV recklessly drove through a red light when shots were fired from one of the vehicles. Well, the pickup driver then crashed into an innocent woman's car and then ran off before police arrested them. The woman died from her injuries. Police say they're looking for the other driver.
2 local law enforcement agencies teaming up in an effort to stop violence this summer, including in Greektown.
It's important that we collaborate, that we be able to help each other, share information, and come together to be able to solve crime, fight crime in the manner that we need to.
We want people to be safe. We don't want people to come down and get into situations and make impulsive decisions that literally changes their lives or hurt someone or hurt themselves. So.
Plan includes increased patrols, also metal detectors. The chief and the sheriff also planning to go after those who are drag racing throughout the city.
Today, the Michigan Supreme Court says it wants more information from Governor Whitmer about her request to erase the state's 1931 abortion ban. The court wants 5 points addressed, including whether it needs to immediately get involved. This week, a judge at the Court of Claims froze the dormant law with an injunction. If the U.S. Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade, abortion would be an issue for the states. Governor Whitmer wants the state Supreme Court to declare that a 1931 ban on abortion is illegal under the state constitution. She also wants the court to reach over lower courts and settle it quickly.